a WFSB Plus original. This is the I-Team Stream.
Good afternoon and welcome to the I-Team Stream. I'm Consumer Investigative Reporter Cassidy Williams.
And I'm Chief Investigative Reporter Sam Smink. Today we are talking about firefighters and their increased risk of cancer.
The state of Connecticut is now offering free cancer screenings for hundreds of firefighters. It's a program firefighters fought for and won.
And one of the first screenings happened earlier this month. Take a look. At Bradley Airport Fire Station 1 this morning, firefighters were busy trying to save their own lives with a free cancer screening. A new service Comptroller Sean Scanlon started 2 months ago.
And this is just one way that we can ensure that firefighters who put their lives on the line every day for us are getting the help that they need to detect cancer early as we see the rates of cancer rise among our firefighters.
Under the service, eligible firefighters can get one free cancer screening every 2 years. This applies to around 900 firefighters on the state's employee health plan and another 1,000 municipal firefighters through the state's partnership plan. For everyone else,
I secured a discount for all fire departments in the state of Connecticut for this test.
It was so important because cancer has become such a big problem for us in the fire service. It's the #1 killer of firefighters.
That's because of the chemicals found in firefighting gear and foam used to put out fires.
Does the risk scare me away? No, I still love my job and going to do it regardless, but to be able to be proactive and know right away or early on and get that treatment, that's a huge win for us.
The scan was actually really not too bad, not too invasive. It was about a 10 to 15 minute procedure where they basically ultrasonically scanned a couple different areas of the body.
It's not an exaggeration to say that this program is going to save lives.
If a scan does come back positive, the state's Firefighter Cancer Relief Program covers treatment. The state tells us since the program began in 2023, 12 firefighters have applied and received funding. And this past legislative session, the program was expanded to include UConn and Bradley Airport firefighters. The I-Team previously told you about Greg Lockwood, a 39-year-old UConn firefighter with colon cancer who was denied treatment until we got involved.
Now every firefighter in the state of Connecticut is covered under that program. And now we've also been able to add, like as you said, skin cancer.
The real goal is to find any cancer early, and the firefighters we spoke to, along with the comptroller, say the fight isn't over to make sure everyone in the state is covered.
And we're hoping that more cities and towns step up and join the state in covering these free preventative screenings for our firefighters.
We are joined now by Frank Vumbaca, a captain at the UConn Fire Department and union treasurer for the International Association of Firefighters, local chapter S15. Thank you for joining us. Frank, now this wasn't something that was done overnight. How long have firefighters been pushing for free cancer screenings?
So this battle really started about 4 years ago. First under the leadership of Pete Brown, President Pete Brown from the UPFFA, to first lobby at the state level to make cancer presumptive. So once we won that battle, a group of us at my local as well as Connecticut Police and Fire Union, we sat down and we kind of talked to each other and we're like, we have this coverage, this is great, so that we can heal when we do have cancer and not worry about losing our jobs or our benefits. But let's try to prevent it, right? Let's try to get better prognoses by early detection. So that started about 2 years ago, and once again we reached out to the UPFFA to ask their advice where we should go with this. They were able to get us a meeting with Comptroller Sean Scanlon, who immediately jumped on board and was like, this is a win-win for the state, for our members. You know, if we can treat this quicker, the cost will be cheaper for the taxpayers, as well as it's the moral thing to do. It's the right thing to do to protect the people who are protecting us. So that journey in itself was about 2 years as well.
And all this fighting, and as Sam's story mentioned, still not every firefighter in the state qualifies for this. If you aren't one of the firefighters in the state's health plan, what options are there for you for these cancer screenings?
So once again, Comptroller Scanlon reached out to the company that we do the scannings with, UDS, and he was able to get them to give a discount to all the other firefighters. So the scans, or the scans in themselves aren't really that expensive. They're about $350. but he was able to, any Connecticut firefighter, even get it cheaper. I think in the future where we want to go with this is we want to get this coverage for every firefighter in the state. We want it as state law. So that if you are a firefighter, your health care coverage or your health care plan will cover these scans.
So this fight certainly isn't over.
No, not by a long shot.
Now, Frank, you were actually a cancer researcher before becoming a firefighter. Why are rates of cancer so high in firefighting, and why did it kind of take so long for people to figure this out? Because it really seems maybe over the last decade or so, people are really starting to scream that this is a real problem.
So, yeah, you're right. I was a cancer researcher for about a decade prior to switching over. Our rates are higher because of our exposures, right? We go into burning buildings, we go into hazmats. The products of combustion alone, hundreds of known carcinogens. The IARC, International Association of Cancer Researchers, puts our jobs at a high tier to contract cancer, to get cancer. I think it took so long because people just weren't looking at it. They just didn't think of it. But once the research got out there and people were looking at it, and we had researchers who were interested in firefighting, or people who do firefighting, they started seeing that these rates are high, and now we're actually seeing some of the families of firefighters are getting cancer at an increased rate as well. So that's really it. We're just exposed more than the general public, and it just puts us at that higher level.
Yeah, there's all the exposures from the actual fires themselves and what you're breathing in, but then there's also all the equipment you're wearing that we know we've heard that those can cause cancer and pose cancer risks. Is the state doing anything about that? They
are. So once again, through the lobbying efforts of the UPFFA, all PFAS is going to be taken out of they're pretty much out of all of our firefighting foams now, but also the gear that we wear. The gear that we use to protect ourselves was killing us. We just didn't know it. So all those forever chemicals, that PFAS, is going to be out of our gear in 2026 by state mandate. Departments like Bridgeport Fire Department right now have gone above and beyond. They're actually getting their members PFAS-free gear as well.
You know, sometimes the state will pass a law like that, and it can take some time, or departments don't maybe have the funding to actually buy all new uniforms. Are they doing that right now? Do you actually see that going into effect by 2026, that they're able to replace all of this gear?
So the manufacturers are also on board with this, so I think they're going to be phasing out all of that older style gear anyways. So our gear is only good for max 10 years. Most departments schedule your gear to be replaced 5 years, so you always have a second set of gear. So you get new gear 5 years, that old gear kind of stays as your secondary gear. So a lot of things have changed in the past couple years because of all the research that's out there. Funding-wise, I would say most municipalities have smartened up that, once again, you have a member who gets cancer. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars of treatment, overtime expenses, and a set of gear is way cheaper.
And for those who may not know about this, and you touched on a little bit when you were talking about the presumption of cancer, there is a state law that requires that if a firefighter does get cancer, that there is a fund that helps pay for it. Can you talk a little bit about that and your efforts to get that passed? Because that took a few years too.
Yes. So there's the firefighter cancer fund, and basically the way it works is that once a firefighter is diagnosed with a cancer, there's certain cancers that are covered by the law. Not all of them are, but quite a list are. The municipality, or in my example, I'm a state firefighter, the state can submit payment to this fund through the treasurer's office. That fund is, once again, the state has passed other laws to make sure that there's money in that fund. But basically, the municipality is not out any expense when a firefighter has to use that money.
We've talked a lot about all the different laws the state has passed. Is there anything big that you think the state hasn't done that we're not doing yet that's still out there that could help with this?
So I think they still have to expand on the laws that they have now and the enforcement. So these laws are so new that a lot of people are kind of behind the 8 ball in understanding them, so education has to be done as well. I think one of the things I would like to see in the future is that some of these screenings expand to, like I said, to include all firefighters, but not just the firefighters, the family members. So I chose this profession, but my spouse, my wife, my kids, they did not. When I come home from work, you know, I have these toxins on my skin. They've permeated in, or my duty clothes when I come home from work. So obviously I have a different background. I don't come home with my uniform if I can help it and things like that, but not everyone does that or can afford to do that. So I want to see these expanded further out for our loved ones that also are being exposed.
And it seems like some fire departments, I was already in Bristol Fire Department the other day, they said there's new washing machines that help get some of that stuff out of your equipment too. Is that something that's mandated, or is that something that's still just slowly making its way through?
So there's lots of, NFPA puts out a lot of standards, and obviously there's OSHA standards as well. So a lot of those things, we do have standards out there, but there's sometimes you can kind of get around those standards because of financial limitations. Some departments, so like Bristol, which has multiple firehouses, they may have, and I don't know if Bristol has this or not, but some other departments that have multiple firehouses, they may only have a washer for 5 stations instead of every single station, right? So guys have to bring their gear back and forth. There has been a culture shift in the fire service, which in a good way, where we are being proactive. So when we go to a fire, we bring our gear back, we wash it, we try to get as much of the carcinogens as we can out of that gear. It's never going to be 100%, but we try to limit those exposures. When we come back in the fire truck, we try to put that gear into a different compartment so that the off-gassing that happens with that gear is not happening in the cab with our firefighters. In addition to that, we're trying to wear that gear right now because most of the departments in the state have that PFAS gear. We're trying to limit when we wear that gear as well. So if we're going to a medical call, we may not need to wear our structural firefighting gear. We don't need to wear that, so we kind of put that in a separate compartment, or just not wear it at all, so we don't have that skin on skin or skin on material touching it.
Well, Frank, thank you for joining us, and thank you for your service. That is our iTeam stream for today.
We're on the stream the first Friday of each month. We'll see you next on September 5th.
And if you have any issues you believe need investigating, tell us about them through the form on WFSB.com. Click on iTeam and then contact the iTeam with the iTeam. I'm Sam Smink.
And I'm Cassidy Williams. Have a great afternoon.